The Columbus Blue Jackets got back from Four Nations with a win. They're still in the thick of the playoff hunt. Jay Foster of Locked On Blue Jackets talks about that, the upcoming outdoor game, and what to expect at the trade deadline. All that and more on today's Locked On NHL podcast.
You're Locked On NHL, your daily podcast on the National Hockey League. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Gil Martin here. Welcome, everybody, to the Monday edition of the Locked On NHL podcast. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I want to thank everyone who makes Locked On NHL your first listen every day. Don't forget to subscribe on YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts so you get new episodes as soon as they drop. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new FanDuel customers can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. It is my pleasure to welcome back to the show the host of Locked On Blue Jackets, Jay Foster. And Jay, a nice return to action for Columbus after Four Nations. Just a solid effort in the win. Let's start with Zach Werenski. What a game he had.
Zach Werenski is inevitable. I talked a lot in the show this week about, well, the Four Nations break came at a great time because everyone got to rest except for Zach Werenski. So, he played a billion minutes at the Four Nations, has come back. He played a game Thursday, didn't skate this morning, got on the ice, and then a goal, 2 assists. It's nothing, and it kind of is nothing for him at this point. And I actually, just before recording, did a little bit of Googling. The Blue Jackets' current record for most points in the season is held by Artemi Panarin, and it is 87. Zach Werenski has 62 points in 56 games. So far for the Blue Jackets, he's on pace for, I believe, 89 points this season. He needs 26 points in his next 25 games to break the record that Panarin set. And I think he does it. Just an unreal season from him. And he's not going to win the Norris, but he should get he'll get votes. When do we start talking about the Hart Trophy for Zach Werenski? Because it probably should have been about a month ago.
Yeah. No, he has been spectacular. Kind of the catalyst that makes this team go. How important to you was it to win that first game back from Four Nations?
Oh, huge. The Blue Jackets were on a 4-game losing streak going into the break. They lost Kirill Marchenko to a broken jaw. 3 games before the break, they lost Dante Fabro to a concussion. Zach Werenski was a little bit banged up. He missed a game and then came right back and kept doing Zach Werenski things. But getting Kirill Marchenko back, getting Dante Fabro back, Boone Jenner made his season debut tonight. He hasn't played since preseason after shoulder surgery in October. This was not on paper a huge win. I think there are definitely some things to clean up, but you could see this team had having time to rest was great. And the teams that they're in the playoff hunt against they both lost. So Ottawa lost in regulation, Detroit lost in overtime. Blue Jackets are still on the outside looking in on playoffs, but they have the same number of points as Detroit and Ottawa, who are both holding the wild card spots right now. So they needed to win this. It's the Chicago Blackhawks. Obviously you are going to lose games against bad teams, but if you want to make the playoffs, these are the games that you have to win, and they did win it. I thought Elvis was excellent. I thought Ken Johnson was spectacular. 2 goals for him, including, I believe, 1 on the power play. Just a really good. Everyone pitched in, right? It was exactly what they needed. Coming off of the Four Nations break, you have kind of what I've been calling it a warm-up game, which is maybe not the kindest thing to say about the Chicago Blackhawks, but the Blue Jackets, of their 25 games or whatever they have left, 27 games, 17 of them are against teams that are in a playoff spot currently, and another 6 of them are against teams that are within 6 points of a playoff spot. So there are no easy games anymore, but games like this one against the Blackhawks, who are, 31st in the league and are struggling, you have to win it. You win this one, you build some momentum. it means that you're not going into the game against Dallas on Tuesday, I think it is, on a 5-game losing streak.
Emotional moment before the game as fans wish a happy birthday to Johnny Gaudreau Jr. Talk to me about that and what it meant for the team and for the Gaudreaus, really.
God, every time I think that, like, I'm not okay with it, but every time I'm like, man, okay, I've processed this, it's really sad, and then something like this happens, and I'm like, well, I'm just gonna sit on my couch and cry a little bit about it. It was really sweet, and I think that's been really important to the Gaudreaus this season. And like, I've really enjoyed. I don't know if I've talked about this on the national show before. I've talked about it on my show. Is following Meredith Gaudreau on Instagram has been really nice because she posts a ton of, like, she'll post pictures of a Johnny Gaudreau, or she'll have like little videos of him hanging out with the kids, or she'll have like stories and stuff, and it's been really nice to watch. But what else has been really nice is seeing, obviously, Boone Chenna's been injured most of the season. Erica Branson's been injured most of the season. Those two guys I know have been spending a lot of time with Meredith, and their wives have been coming over as well. And the Blue Jackets' wives and girlfriends have really, like, not brought Meredith in, but they've really kind of kept her close this season. And that's been really special. She's come to a lot of games. I don't know that it was like a motivational for the team necessarily, but I think it's clearly really important to them to keep Johnny and his family close.
We are coming close now to the next outdoor game. Talk to me about that, what it means to the team, and what you expect to see there.
Oh, it's just so cool, right? Like, I know that to some teams, maybe an outdoor game is, they're over it and they're bored of it now. But, like, Columbus was, I think, one of 3 teams that hadn't played in an outdoor game before this season. And, doing it at the Shoe, the Ohio Stadium where the Buckeyes play, playing against the Detroit Red Wings. Like, obviously there's a lot of rivalry and history there. It's going to be so cool. Like, every time they're keeping it under pretty close wraps about, like, what's actually going to happen. But I do know that they apparently have enough pyrotechnics on site to shake the entire city of Columbus. So I don't know, the cannon is going to be there. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if there is like a full 21 gun salute and an entire squad of planes that fly overhead whenever the Blue Jackets score. Like, it's going to be such an event. And it's been a long time coming. The Blue Jackets have been trying to get this done for years and years. I believe, I don't remember who it is exactly, but I believe it's the president of Ohio State, recently retired. So they brought a new guy in, and lo and behold, very soon after that, they started making pathway on bringing an outdoor game to Columbus, and it happened very, very fast. So you love to see that. Frustrating that it's taken this long, but it's going to be really fun. And as an added, like, little bonus as well, the game is going to be meaningful. They're currently in a dogfight with the Detroit Red Wings for a wild card spot in the playoffs. Like, this game could have huge implications on both of these seasons. The season for the Blue Jackets, the season for the Red Wings. And, like, I know that was a lot of the complaints about the Chicago St. Louis outdoor game was, well, Chicago's not competitive. St. Louis is not super competitive this year. Like, you want to have the games mean something, right? And this game is going to mean something for a lot of different reasons, but also, like, at a base level, it's going to be important to the standings. This game might be the make or break game. Like, if it stays as close as it is, it could be whoever wins this game gets to make the playoffs, which is really, really fun for an outdoor game.
It is, and especially if someone wins in regulation. So, yeah. Trade deadline is now just a few weeks away. The Blue Jackets surprising a lot of people, being in the thick of the playoff hunt. What do you expect them to do? And what are they looking for if they are looking to add anything?
They want another top 6 winger, I believe, potentially a top 9 winger. There's been a lot of talk about, who's available, what's going to happen. Don Waddell has kind of come out and said that they're going to be, I believe the exact quote was moderate buyers. They're not going to, they're not going to go all in on someone. They're not going to go ahead and try and get Mikko Rantanen from the Hurricanes if he is indeed still available by the deadline. They've got 2 first-round picks at the minute. He wants to keep hold of at least one of them. I would be surprised if he keeps hold of both of them. There's a name that has been floated around recently. Gus Nyquist of Nashville Predators is in the final year of his deal, is, I believe, 35 years old, could probably be had for, a mid-round pick, for a 4th round or a 5th round pick, maybe. Those are the kind of moves I'm expecting. No one that's going to move the needle, really, just someone to bolster what the Blue Jackets have built this season, right? You don't really want to trade away futures at this stage of the rebuild, but you also don't necessarily want to not make any moves either. There's a lot of people talking about, well, you want to reward the group by, for doing so well this season, reward them with an extra piece. And I still don't know that they need to add all that much this season. I think they're looking at the addition of Boone Jenner as a trade deadline acquisition. They're going to get Sean Monahan back in a couple of weeks. He's, going to be another big addition for this team. I think getting Kromachenko back, I think he broke his jaw 20 days ago, I believe, 19 or 20 days ago, and he's already playing again. So, that's another addition. They don't need to, I think anyway, add much. They were never supposed to make the playoffs this season. Right. They're playing with house money. Obviously, they don't want to get bounced immediately. They want to, put an effort in to both make the playoffs and make a splash while they're there. But this is not it's not a cup or bust, right? It's not like, for example, the Carolina Hurricanes, I feel like, are getting close to, well, we need to take the next step. The Dallas Stars are we need to take the next step. Those are the kind of teams that you expect to go big or go home. Blue Jackets are going to keep doing what they're doing, what they've done all season long. They're going to keep, they're going to go as far as they're going to go as far as this season will take them.
All right. Well, we'll see. Jay, why don't you tell our viewers and our listeners where they can find the podcast and where they can find you on social media?
You can find me on Twitter at _Jacob Foster, JAKOBFORSTER. You can find me on Blue Sky at the same username without the underscore. You can find the show on Twitter at LO_Blue Jackets. We will be on Blue Sky soon. And you can find the show wherever you listen to Locked On NHL. We're on every podcasting app and also over on YouTube.
All right, Jay, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Today's episode is brought to you by Wonderful Pistachios. Looking for a snack that's both delicious and nutritious? Crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help keep you feeling fuller longer. Personally, I love the no snack variety. It's the perfect grab and go snack for busy days. Whether I'm snacking at my desk, on a road trip, or just need a quick protein boost, they're always my go-to. And if you love cracking open every shell for that satisfying crunch, the in-shell options are a classic favorite. Get snacking and get cracking with the snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. That's wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more.